So good evening everyone, and welcome back to our Wednesday meditation session. We were in London for a couple of nights. Kirsty very kindly drove us to Wimbledon, and somehow before we arrived, just about an hour, accidentally hit the curb and got the trouble with the tire. But the car was very fancy one, so we were safe. So we managed to get to the Wimbledon, the Buddhapatipa temple. So one of the first Thai temples in the West. So next year they're going to celebrate it 60th anniversary. An amount of a contribution that the temple have done so far in the British community. The British ambassador to Thailand decided that this ambassador would like to involve in the Buddhist activities in London. So this year's Katina ceremony, which is the annual Katina ceremony, so the British ambassador to Thailand is the main sponsor that coming to offer the Katina robe to the monks. And in the meantime, he is leading to celebrate the 60th anniversary, the Thai and British relationship, which is quite a remarkable things to recognize. And I feel very interesting because over the time, officials from British civil servants, very few would turn up officially to engage in the Buddhist activities. And obviously Buddhist monasteries, they never approach to the politicians and will not go on protesting or requesting or going marching for the this right or that rights. So somehow this relationship built up, and now this British ambassador is sponsoring this year's Katina. The purpose that we went down to England in Wimbledon was the 2 days of training, and I was shadow organizing, overlooking every details, things, and that was a tiring job. And you have to deal with so many monks, monks from around the world, and then people from 3 continents, 4 continents, so including Thailand. So people attended from America, Norway, Belgium, France, Amsterdam, Thailand, and obviously from Scotland. And that was a lots of things to take on. And obviously, whenever we organize events, as we all know, that there will be some faults, and needs to deal with that and on the spot. So while dealing with different things, whenever these different issues pops up, and I was looking at those feelings and emotions that popped up, And I was just checking in my own heart that what sort of a change is taking place and what sort of sentences that I was trying to form to respond to that. Right? And I always looked at that and then smiled to myself, watching those activities that I was forming to respond. And oftentimes I recognize myself that I was trying to convince that I am right. And in the meantime, I recognize myself that we have been through a lot, preparing for a lot. Why you're here to change? So it's like this is my thing. Why you are here to change? Why you're here to move around, kind of like that. So that also came into my mind, and I watched that formation of a different emotion and different thoughts, and that. And then I checked on that each thought that came. And rather than reacting to this and then responding to whoever was there, I was just like smiling. And that smile is not about the problem. That smile is not about dealing with the problem, but I was smiling that I was able to recognize these little thoughts that's forming in my head. In my head. And I just watch it and then I smile. And then when I was smiling with these issues, I felt that whoever came to me with those issues, they themselves automatically went calm. And then the second time when they came to deal with me, they were much, much calmer than before. Like a particular one issue, that's obviously, when you give responsibilities to different people, some will do diligently, others won't. And obviously this is a volunteering, nobody's paid. You can't expect 100% from everybody. Obviously we all have this identity issue, and we just want to be recognized and want to have some titles or job titles and so on. And obviously this is also the case. And now there are different job titles that we have allocated. I have personally allocated, and they confirmed that they would do it, but they didn't, right? And then the complaint came. And I was just talking, and then I just smile and watch it. And then somehow I was just checking my reaction, my observation to those thoughts, and observe that. And I see the animosity coming from that person, and then dissatisfaction. But underneath, what I felt, which I think is the truth, underneath, this person is trying to tell me that these people are so bad. Then I look at, and then after a conversation, then I told them that because we know that they are not doing, so we have to do it and get ready for them. When they come, then we can give them all the documents ready for them to use it. And that response was not pointing to her, and I wasn't ignoring her complaint, and I was also not pointing at those who took the responsibilities. And she just could not respond anymore. Could not say anymore. And then the next time when she came back to me, along with another two person, when they spoke with me, I felt that the way they spoke was very mindful speaking. Every word was beautifully, mindfully crafted. And it was very soft, and it was direct to the point of the action that this needs to be done. and how can we do it? So like that. So these 2 days, it was very tiring, but end of the day, then I looked at myself and looking back to all these, dealing with the different issues, and mindfulness works. And it's not just working for myself, but it works for others as well. So they also recognize that how calm I was and how I was dealing with these things. And with that, they also gain this calmness, and they also gain this confidence in me, right? And that's as a result, it was successful, I would say. So that's why mindfulness works. And to get that stage of awareness, that stage of understanding, obviously it takes a long time practice. And that's practice again and again. That's why it's the key that whenever we are thinking of any results, we have to practice and see how it is working when we are in these crises, particularly in our work habits or in our life. Whenever we face with these things, how are we responding? Right? And if we can respond with this, with like this, well, then obviously you have gone so far away. You have gone far in the practice of a meditation. But if you still haven't recognized, or even a little tiny bit of it you haven't recognized, and then you still have to work. Yeah. So that's the beauty that I found, and I was just fascinated by how beautiful those moments that initially these people were like very aggressive and very demanding, and later on the way they spoke was more of a humbling, more of kind, and a more of like friendly manners. Just turn up, and that's simply, and I didn't say any to them. It was just simply being mindful of myself, my own thinking, my own proliferation, and then my response to these things, and how the result turn around. So they themselves learn whenever they're coming to speak with me, whenever they are dealing with these issues with me. They simply turn around, and they also become mindful automatically. So that's sort of the experience I gained these 2-3 days working in Wimbledon. Obviously, it was my first in full engagement in the temple dealing with that, but the training, how it went, it doesn't matter. And how it did, I don't know. Well, maybe Kirsty and Gavin can share later on how did they feel and what happened and what was it. But for myself, what I got was that the mindful awareness of my own observational to these issues and how I was mindful and watching that, and it's a beautiful moment. Okay? So that's why I encourage you all to continue practicing. So I believe that you can do this. So I offer this as a reflection. Now let's practice meditation. Sitting in a comfortable position, relax your soul. Leave all your responsibilities aside. Acknowledge your presenceness here and now. You may take a few long deep breaths to feel here and now. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Thus, being mindful of this body sitting here, your mind is observing it, feeling the entire body. With the initial practice of chanting, the recitation, the recollections of the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha, we have cleansed our actions and ready to practice. Free from all the guilts, doubts, misfortunes. But this is now the perfect moment. Mindfulness of your own body sitting here and now. And within this body, we are observing the breath. It's a body in the body. Observing the breath as it comes, as it goes. Wherever you feel this breath. A movement of this breath. Recognizing that space as this movement takes place. Recognizing the reality it is. When noticing this breath, and mentally make a mental note when it's in, when it's out, when it rises, when it falls. You may even name it if you really want to stamp on it each time when it rises, when it falls, when it's in, when it's out. So it's an active engagement with any phenomena that arises due to this breath coming in and going out. each time when it comes, when it goes out, or when it rises and falls, what sort of a sensation you can notice in your body and in your feelings. So continue practicing. Likewise, working with the breath, and if you find that your mind is settled, gently internalizing yourself to recognize any thought process that forms and how it manifests, how it is affecting your thinking, your perception, your feelings. And if not, just working with the breath simply to gain the calmness of the mind. So continue practicing until you hear the gong.